around here, a season of expectations, a little drama, commit to it. And we have, man, look how good he is. He looks good. Looks good on TV, looks good on the radio. Jay Moore joins us now, former Blackshirt, who is back with us for the season. Good morning.
Morning, gentlemen. How we doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah,
You look nice and relaxed. You're supposed to be on edge.
I was gonna get in the office this morning, but I said, I'm gonna do it on the back patio of the house interview this morning. So I'm currently sitting out here right now with some beautiful acoustics going on, and got some lawnmowers going on in the back. Hopefully that doesn't pick it up from the golf. I live near a golf course, so they're out mowing this morning. So yeah, shocker, right? Jay Moore living next to a golf course. But
I thought you're catching us on the turn right now.
No, I wish. Yeah. I wish. No, a lot of work to get done yet today.
Okay.
Hey, this has been talked about a lot. You're in a rare fraternity of being a black shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Your thoughts on the way it's handled now, where there's less angst, and also for the newbies that got one yesterday, what is that like?
Yeah, I think every coach in the past has had their way of doing it. When I got my first one, it was with Callahan. So I know, Osborne had their system, Solich had their system. When I got one in 2004 as a sophomore, I can't remember how many were handed out, but I think like 14 or 15 were handed out. And I know that changed with Pelini, and obviously it changed with Riley, and things changed with Frost, and taking them back, whatever it is. I like the way it's handled now. It's really the starters. It's really the true 11 starters. Obviously, Cam Lenhart got another one because he's considered a pseudo starter at that defensive end position. But there's nothing like it. The first time getting it, obviously a very emotional instance for me, just knowing what it represented and knowing growing up in the state, and idolizing guys who've worn it before, Grant Wistrom, Jason Peter, Jared Tomich, especially those guys in the D line, and then the pressure that comes along with it. But it's a good pressure because you have a standard to upkeep because of what those guys had established before you. And I like to think I did my best. Obviously, the wins didn't come and the championships we didn't have as those other guys. But it's the best fraternity in the world. And a lot of my former teammates and guys who I never even played with were like brothers, and I get to play golf with a lot of these guys and see them around town. And we act like we played with each other, but we didn't. But we know we're part of this club that is one of the most special groups that I've been honored to be a part of. So congratulations to those, first and foremost, congratulations to those 12 guys that got it. It's an honor. But there's a standard, right? There's a standard you got to upkeep, and just as easy as you got one. I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be taken away as well. So I know they will. And that defense is going to be fantastic. They were so good last year, and there's the leadership and the quality of human beings on that defense. That's going to be fun to watch and fun to finally see them play on Saturday.
You said taken away. Tony White mentioned that when they all got theirs and they came out, said it was a cool thing, but also reminded them that their other jersey isn't that far away, that can be taken away. I know there was always pushing each other, holding each other accountable in fall camp, but when you finally get that and you're donning those, was that ever, in your experience, was it ever a conversation of maybe amongst yourselves, not even the coaching staff, of, we played at a certain level that we don't deserve to wear these, and that just that overall accountability factor amongst the group that is donning those? Did you ever experience that, and is that a big part of it?
I did not experience that. I think there is something to that. I think in 2004 we definitely did obviously not play up to the standard to deserve to wear those black shirts. I know there was plenty of guys who were really good players, right? And I think in 2005 we had one of the best defenses in the country. In 2006 as well. But just with the new staff and the unfamiliarity with everything, and a lot of it was, I'm not trying to blame the offense, but I mean, it's just completely square peg round whole situation. When you have an option quarterback trying to run West Coast, it just wasn't going to work. But I don't think I had the standard. We did not. I'll say we did not practice the right way. I think we finally learned how to practice the right way the next year, and you saw those results. So I don't think in 2004 if there was that amongst us, but everything was just kind of, it was so new where you just showed up, and there were some guys did get it taken away by coaches during that time frame, but there was nothing amongst players that said, hey, our standard's not high enough. I think for the most part, we went out there and approached every day like it was our last, and try to get better every day, and try to hold that standard and keep up that standard that so many great players and teams before us had established. Um, but I think this group right now, I think especially with Isaac Gifford, I think he's a guy that kind of is your accountability guy. Just being
Yeah.
from the few practices and seeing some of those on three or not on three, the chasing three shows, he's kind of that vocal leader within that defense, and I think he's definitely going to hold those players accountable. Not Tony White, not Rob
Mhm.
Dvorak, not Coach Butler. It's going to be Isaac Gifford holding that defense. Those guys are very accountable.
So sticking with him, but then I'm going to throw Ty Robinson into the mix. So Ty is 23 years old. This will be his 6th year in the program, Jay. He came in here in 2019. He redshirted. So he has been part of Nebraska football with some changes, but he's 20 and 36 as a member of the Nebraska football program. And there are other guys like a Gifford that have been here 5-6 years that have never been to a bowl game. They've never experienced success. They've never been able to just stack win after win after win. And all of a sudden they come into 2024 and people are expecting Nebraska to win. How is this team built, in your opinion, to handle the transition to you haven't won? People are saying you're going to win. You kind of won last year. How do you put all of that together? What do you see of the makeup of this team that can come to fruition?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to it. I think it's a lot of it rides on the defense, because I said last night on Bigger Rep, I don't mean this in a negative way, but this team is old. You have guys on there that have the maturity level is high, and good teams that you look in the past that have won championships, they're older teams. They're junior and senior, and 5th or 6th year, whatever it may be, senior led teams. So there's that to it. But I think with this defense, and that's going to be the backbone of this team. So many guys are back, and there's so many guys in this defense I think are Sunday guys, not Ty Nash, Jamari, Singleton, Tommy Hill. Those guys can play on Sundays. So I think there's something to that as well. But I think Coach Rule might have already alluded to this in a previous press conference this week, or even sometime in camp. I mean, that offense last year was young. A lot of guys got thrown in the mix. So obviously with the turnovers, the unfamiliarity with everything, having to kind of learn a new offense in the middle of the season to suit Harburg's characteristics of what he has to bring and try to win games. This offense now, you have guys who have been through it, have learned. You have a quarterback, and I know is young and has all the weapons, has the tools around him. If the offensive line can stick together and stay healthy, I think this offense is finally going to help the defense out, and I think the special teams is going to turn a new leaf as well. The kicking game is going to improve. I think you're going to see a better return game as well. So I think just getting those other two phases helped out more, that's going to provide some wins. But you have to. Losing has been a habit of this program, but winning is you got to learn how to win too. So when those wins come, can you keep the complacency off? Can you keep your mind focused and just kind of head down and just go about your business? And I think just having a mature, older group, even though they haven't won as much, I think that won't be the case. I think you're going to see these guys continue to work and not be satisfied with anything, and try to get to that that 8-win mark that I think everyone's kind of not predicting, but they think that's kind of the level that can be attained by for this group this year.
For a first game, I think there's always that. I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but I always feel like there's always going to be that built-in excuse of there's going to be first game mistakes, sloppiness on both sides, in all three phases, actually. But to your point about the age of this defense, but I think even more importantly, being more well-versed in this defense in year 2 under Tony White, with veterans, with the strong rotation, especially up front, what do you need to see on Saturday to validate your thoughts? I know there's a long season to go, but just on Saturday out of the gate, what do you need to see out of this defense to validate your thoughts on this group being an improved group from even a year ago?
Yeah, I think just with how UTEP's going to try to attack them with pace and spacing them out, they got to tackle. They got to tackle very, very well. It's going to be a lot of one-on-one situations, so I want to see the tackling. There's going to be some missed tackles, I get it, but there's still, if Isaac Gifford misses a tackle, whoever it is, or Makai Bayer misses a tackle, there's better be 3 other hats right there with them to clean it up. Tackling is the first thing. No big plays, right? No mental bust, no big plays. yeah, they're going to get some first downs. That's just football. They're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the other thing. No missed assignments, right? Alignments. Now I don't know exactly what the play call is, but you can that kind of comes in tie with big plays. And I want to see. It's going to be interesting to see this with this 3-3-5 and going into the second year with a lot of the same guys. What extra wrinkles are you going to kind of throw in here? Are you going to see guys moved around a little bit? You're going to see guys play maybe some different roles, have some different positions, because you can do this, do a lot of different things, and really just to see what young guys step up. We've heard a lot for some younger guys through camp that just showed up here on campus this spring and in this summer. Get kind of thrown in the 2 deep mix, see who kind of shows up. And if this game is rather comfortable in the second half with those young guys who can show up here and make some plays to show that there is some depth, because you need it. There's guys who get banged up. So I think tackling first and foremost, no big plays, miss assignments. Another thing, I guess this defense needs to create more turnovers. I think last year they were able to get 14 turnovers. They need to create more. The secondary is way too good. This defense is way too good that they got to take the ball away more. This needs to be their goal needs to be at least two turnovers a game this year, I think. And if they can get that done, it could be a pretty special group.
Blackshirt Jay Moore and his pet cricket from the back porch at his house joining us.
My apologies.
Yeah, I mean, they don't play along. They don't know you're on the radio.
Yeah.
The offensive identity will be what in 2024?
Oh man, that's kind of the $1 million question going forward with a young quarterback, right? First and foremost, I hope we're going to establish the run. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. I don't know if we're going to see it though. I think Satterfield and there's a want to throw the football. I mean, and I can't disagree to an extent because of the weapons that they have. When you're talking about Malachi Coleman, Jalen Lloyd, Banks, Nayor, Fedoni, Carter Nelson as a young kid getting thrown in the mix. The stable running backs who can catch the ball in the backfield as well, and then you have a quarterback that has the ability to throw it like we haven't had in a long time. So, but I want first and foremost, you got to establish the run. You got to get this offensive line going, get them aggressive, get them some confidence, get the timing going, and then you can start doing some different things, right? But first of all, I want to see a strong commitment to it, and then you can start checking around, right? But I don't know. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But I know that's what wins football games, and it will always win football games: the ability to run the football. And it's worked for hundreds of years, right? How long we've been playing this game, and especially you're going to need this when it gets cold here in November. You got to be able to run the football, and it's got to start early. And so that's what I hope I see. I don't know if we'll see that necessarily. I think it's going to be a lot of RPO situations where it obviously. It kind of you could see a situation where, it's a 1 high safety, 2 high safety look, what kind of coverage you're getting. You're going to see some motions going that kind of identify zone versus man coverage. So depending on what Rayola sees, and if he has full reins of it, like Rule said, like, hey, the playbook's open. We're not handcuffing him at all. Call some checks and boom, it might be a zone read look and a bubble pass to Fedoni or whatever it is, right? That is a pseudo run. Potentially, if it's around the line of scrimmage, but it's going to be unique, man. I think it's the positionless football is something to that. But I think that's kind of my main question for going into the season. What is this offense going to look like? And we don't know yet because they haven't had these weapons before, right? So it's going to be fun to see.
I know Matt Rule said that about giving him full reign. They're going to treat, as far as how they handle Dylan Raiola in week 1, the same way that they would handle him in week 12. What does that look like in your opinion in still trying to I know you don't want to say this to Matt Rule because I think he took some exception to it of easing him in, but setting up Dylan for success right out of the gate, Jay, what does that look like in game 1 in your opinion?
Yeah, I think to me, and this is coming from a defensive-minded guy, but that's establishing the run. That's, and then getting them some easy throws. You're getting in second and manageable, third and manageable, to where you're setting them up for success. To where the defense is kind of on their heels. They don't know what's potentially come, so you can throw it, you can run it. Easy throws for him. But I don't. I mean, just with everything that, just like
the cricket just cut off the.
I forgot to pay the bill.
It's actually a great frozen screen, though.
It is.
He's breaking it down.
Yeah. Jesus, he does not miss an arm.
So I think.
Oh, there we go.
We got him. You got me. Did you lose me?
We got you back. Yeah, we thought the
sorry.
cricket was doing something, but yeah, you're back.
Okay. I have to go back to it. I think they got to establish a run and get in that manageable situation for him. But I don't know what just the in-game situation is completely different. What is it going to be like when they get pinned on the 5? What's their plan on that? Quick change situation where they get a turnover on the 40. They're going to take a deep shot with Dylan because that's what most teams like to do in a quick change and sudden change situation. What's it going to look like in the red zone? Are they going to have Dylan try to run the ball at all? So all those kind of different situations, how are you going to handle it with a young quarterback? It's kind of an open book right now, and I think after this first game, I think we're kind of having a better idea, and I can give you a little better commentary on exactly what we're going to see. But tell you what, he's going to be a special player, and I don't want to hype him up too much, but what I've seen just from the few practices, man, it's we haven't had one like him to be able to throw the football like he has ability to. So it's gonna be rather fun to watch.
Yes, it will. It's great to have you back. We enjoyed it. Now you can go back to work.
Okay. Thanks, boys. We'll talk to you next week.
That's Jay Moore.